Good. Yeah, there was Fed was. Did you see that? Fed was
Fed
at
there, too?
at the Met Gala, whatever.
Really?
They wear some crazy shit to that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. More so the women, I think, than
Like I saw
Yeah,
the men. But
yeah.
they
a
wear
guy
like
in
crazy.
like a polar bear out.
Yeah, I was gonna
outfit
say
there or
some of them are
something.
not
What?
even.
That's serious.
Oh no, for real. I think
Yeah.
that's part of it. Is I think you wear like the most outrageous.
Yeah, I guess
Shit,
Fed
you
had a
can-
cobra on his, which is Fed is like the
On
most
his
classic
jacket?
guy on his jacket a few years ago.
I can
Right.
see that.
Yeah,
Which is pretty wild.
yeah,
For him,
him.
yeah.
Fed. Yeah, the sweater.
Yeah.
Hold on, 'cause I got it. Okay, so we are on.
I'm not even really sure what that is. Like I know it happens every year. What is it exactly? It must raise money for something. It can't just be for famous people to dress like assholes. There's got to be.
Yeah.
You don't know. You're like the fucking
No.
Michaela. You're like they're not.
No,
they're
dude,
not
I think-
having
I
that
think it's some-
Romania. He's never even fucking.
Well, I know it from here now. Man.
Yeah.
I think.
I honestly
think
have
some
no
sort
idea.
of
what.
yeah.
You've heard of it,
fashion.
though,
Oh
Yeah.
no,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
in New York City, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is. It's like people dress.
yeah.
Wait, that's part of it.
I mean, the only
That's part
thing
of
that
it.
I put with the gala is like some charity.
Yeah, it's got to
right?
be. Yeah, I don't know what it raises money for, but
Does it even raise any money?
I don't know.
but they have the most wealthy people in the
For
world
the Met,
there.
maybe
yeah.
it raises money for the Met.
For the Met.
Oh, it could.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
That would be my guess.
wild one, right? Kev, have you been watching Madrid?
Yeah,
I'm gonna bug you every
I-
time.
the last 5 minutes.
I
he's
just,
just
yeah, I've just
Yeah.
caught up.
Yeah. I actually didn't.
Although
Oh yeah, this one
I
here.
say it every time
Look at
I
this
come
one.
up here. All the points you watch, I'm like, it
Yeah.
makes me realize I just don't watch it, but I love it when I watch it.
Yeah.
You missed the last point of that match. Did you see the
No, I
backhand
saw
that guy hit?
Yeah.
He's
Running forward.
Yeah.
It was like close to the net, above the net, running up, and then like so it was a ball like way up above his head, and he just skyrocketed,
Yeah.
and just
and then jumped up,
Did you
and
go two-way?
jumped up. No, one hander.
Flicked his wrist.
was that Alcaraz hitting one hander?
No, it
No,
wasn't Alcaraz.
no,
it was
the
Tsitsipas
who was the
match.
guy that looked
Oh.
like Russell Brand?
Whoever he was playing.
Tsitsipas. He likes.
No,
he likes
that wasn't
Tsitsipas.
Yeah.
that's Tsitsipas.
Yeah.
That's how
Who
little I
was he
know. I
playing?
thought he was
Wow.
the other guy.
No.
Okay,
Who do you think he
he's
was?
got a nasty one-y. I don't know the other guy he was playing. Marielas.
Yeah, some weird double.
Sabata Miralles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a little bit off.
Yeah, that's
Still, but yeah,
badass one-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Running forward, skyrocketed, got a ball that was above his head,
Yeah.
below his shoulder, and then
just flicked his
Fucking-
wrist.
yeah, hammered it.
Match.
Question: what's the craziest professional venue to play in? New York?
It's the biggest.
Well, yeah, Arthur Ashe, and probably the wildest, right? Like,
Yeah.
Well, doesn't that have to do with the fact that it's at night?
well, yeah, but Australia
else plays at
night? Australia plays at night.
I know, but they're like good eye. They're like they're not as wild. Like New Yorkers,
Yeah.
there's something
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the
yeah.
city
Yeah.
There is.
yeah,
at night.
And it
To me,
gets
that's part
wild
of the
in there.
fun,
It
dude.
gets
Dude,
wild
matches
in
go
there.
to. I don't
2
have, I
a.m.
don't have memories of Australian Open matches. Maybe just because they're
You didn't
so
stay
far
up that
away.
late.
Yeah. But like I just have memories, even growing up, like watching matches till 1 a.m.
Yeah.
in the fucking morning, and
It's got to
like,
be New York,
you know,
right?
Yeah, it's
There's
New York.
nowhere
Yeah.
crazier than that.
I don't think so.
Those
I
are
don't know.
hands down my favorite.
Yeah. When the
like-
night goes, especially it's a Labor Day weekend.
Dude,
and-
Jimmy
yeah.
Connors memories. Remember when he had that run in like, I don't know, 88, 89 when he was an old
We
man?
got to the semis,
He
right?
played Paul Harhoos. Yeah, dude. I mean,
yeah,
by the
yeah.
way, dude,
Bum,
good
bum,
luck
bum,
finding
bum.
a tennis crowd that gets
Yeah.
that electric, dude. That only happens in New York. where
And you have
people
all the
out-
celebrities there,
Yeah,
right? You
man.
got Tiger Woods there. You got whoever
Right.
comes to.
Yeah,
You know, we've talked about it every time. It's funny. I keep talking about it, but it goes with you about saying, like, you know, letting the crowd do things. Like, obviously, you can't
Yeah.
heckle there, but that crowd is more involved rather than, like,
Yeah.
Wimbledon, where there could be
They
something
let-
crazy. and everyone's like,
They let more
The
go
proper-
there, right? Like they let more go. Like,
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not getting thrown out if you yell during somebody's
No.
serve or anything,
No.
right? Like it
No.
happens all the time.
I don't know. Are there
No, that's
European
Yeah, like
venues
what
that are
nuts?
crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, they do. Rome gets pretty wild because they stay up late. Madrid gets pretty wild at night, but not you know, I mean, French Open, I would think. I don't.
Yeah,
No.
but they're not playing
I
matches.
think US brings
at night
a lot
there.
more of the team sports attitude into tennis.
Right.
I think the crowd
Or it
is
makes the crowd feel
Especially
part of it.
with
Yeah.
an American
Maybe-
playing, like American
Oh, yeah.
playing, and
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
take such pride in
people haven't watched tennis in 5 years. They
Yeah.
go to the U.S. Open
Yeah.
and Americans
Yeah.
playing, they're all
Yeah.
over it.
They don't even know who he is.
Right? Yeah.
They're like Johnny Sullivan. Yeah. We'll get behind this guy just because
Yeah.
he's an American. You know.
There were a lot of those matches with, you know, first round and the
Yeah.
crowds were just wild. And
Wild.
everybody must have some not so proud moments on the court, right? We talked about it a while ago, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
cheating. You know,
Yeah.
you know, but you gotta laugh about him.
Or even not
It's-
cheating, just maybe acting like.
Yeah, just being a little bit too, right?
Right. Yeah,
You
but
you have him and you're like, oh man.
isn't that part of doing anything though?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
But
like
what-
cheating is the worst of it, but just even acting, you know,
I had
screaming, yelling, or saying stuff that, like, with a little distance, you're like, all right, that was not. But I don't know. Weren't you just managing that situation? The
Or
best
not managing
you
it.
could?
Or not, right? Because
I don't know.
just
is
let
that,
it out.
Is that not managing, or is it managing it?
That's a very good point.
yeah.
Isn't letting it out part of managing it? Because honestly, if you don't let it out, where does it go?
No, that's a
Where
very
does
good
it
point.
go?
Yeah,
You know,
we talked about yeah.
where does it
Energies,
go?
You do have to let it out, but is that consciously or unconsciously? Is the subconscious take over? Like we have
No.
to.
Have you ever thought about, I'm going to really
Yeah.
yell right now and make
Yes.
a scene? Or does something happen and you're just like, and it just comes out? Who
have.
was it that, I think wanted to
Yuzhny.
hit his
Yuzhny.
head, but
Yeah.
like caught the frame?
Mikhail
Like,
Yuzhny.
Yeah.
Dude, I had a guy growing up. He was a good friend of mine. His dad was one of those dads, and he was getting so angry. But I think now looking back, I think fearful because he was losing, and he was doing that at racket, but frame, or
Not on purpose,
On
though,
his
but
head.
like trying to
Just-
do the,
no,
Do it,
no,
but,
no,
like,
no, the
misfired.
frame. That's no. He was
To
very
the
conscious.
forehead?
Yeah,
oof.
and
Yeah.
and yeah, and
Exactly.
pulling hair,
Oh, pulling his own hair
pulling his
out?
own hair, dude.
Oh.
The guy was 10 or 11 years old.
Right.
Imagine when you're a boy.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to play that guy. I'd actually probably let him win.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's Deuce, dude.
I
Have
had-
you just
I
pulled
had
your
a-
hair
yeah.
out? It's
I had a
fucking
really
Deuce.
bad one freshman year in college, like bad.
Is still
Temper-
kiboshing our
temper
podcast?
tantrum?
Oh,
I know.
huge temper tantrum.
Shh.
Like first, maybe second, third match of my college tennis career, right? And third set, I don't even think the match meant anything, but I was playing, like, every match meant a lot for me at that freshman year in
man.
college, right? So it's
Yeah.
like I lose the match and I frisbee throw my racket and it came maybe an inch from
Were you
hitting.
trying to do it into the net?
No, I was trying to do it into the side fence.
Okay.
2 inches from the line judge's head.
Oh. Which, even no matter how much you apologize,
No.
that dude's like, dude.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen when people try to do it into the net and have missed, and then it like hits your opponent. Which all of a sudden now,
Yeah.
people are like, dude, have your own
Yeah,
temper tantrum,
yeah,
but don't make it
yeah.
rain in my world. That's actually the worst. That's a good lesson. Like, don't throw,
No, yeah,
hammer it,
yeah.
throw it, hit yourself in the head. But the frisbee throw never ever works out. It never
Yeah.
works out.
No.
And you feel like what do you even say after that?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and they're like, "Fuck you, dude."
Yeah.
Really?
Just like watching your lines, just
Right,
standing there on
right,
the side
yeah.
of the court.
Yeah.
He almost caught one to the head.
I think when I think back, my worst temper tantrums, obviously the on court situation produced them. But there was like anything else in life, when you act your worst, there's other stuff you have
course.
going on behind it. Like, it's not just
Yeah,
the match
yeah.
that
No.
brings that out. There's something else
Yeah.
there that, like, you know,
Yeah.
and maybe thank God for the sport that you can release it in that way. But there's like
That's a good
there's
point.
it's not just about the fact that like now I'm down
yeah.
4-2 and I need to fucking smash a racket or yell or this or that. It's like I'm down 4-2 and in the back of my mind I'm like on top of all this other fucking bullshit. Yeah. Which is like maybe that's how it's like it's a stress reliever in the sense that you're out there and you don't think about it and you bash balls and you forget this and that. And also maybe it gives you the chance to absolutely from
empty
your gut,
that bad energy.
Like it's like you throw up without actually throwing anything up. You just release all the shit that you need to get out, you know?
Dude, there's so many that come to mind, man. Holy smokes.
I feel like
I think that's
as
what
a
it is.
kid,
I
you
think that's what it
would've-
is.
or a teen, I feel like you would have had some epic.
Yes.
You're a guy that can get like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like as an adult, like you have a little, like you're
just a little.
like you're, you know, you can know how to do it. I feel
Process it
like
better,
as a kid, you probably had some epic,
Meltdowns.
yes,
Yeah.
just
They're,
like angry moments where like you're like everyone's like, ooh boy,
Yeah. There were a bunch. But it was almost like the culture. Like we had this, we were in this little team at my club, and 4 of us were like, at some point, top 10 in the country, which is unheard of in small towns. Not one of us was calm. But not one of us was affected by a temper tantrum. It was almost like our coaches learned to, all right, let's just let them be.
right,
Because they're going to play better. I know, and I said this before, that a temper tantrum never affects me. If anything, I turn into an animal, but it never like pulls me down. It's like that release that you're talking about.
yeah,
It just really lets it,
yeah,
and it clears it out, and like, all right, well,
yeah.
let's do it. But I think is that it is the underlying
That's
anger that
because
comes
you let
from
it
fear.
go appropriately, like all the way out.
Yeah.
It's almost people that don't
let
let it all the way and like little
Yeah.
bits. It's still bubbling. At some point, you need to
Just
totally
whatever you have.
release it. Totally release it.
I have a good other story actually. Not me, one of my teammates got super angry, smashed a couple rackets, and our own coach called him on a point penalty.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
right. But I don't know. I mean,
And he walked off the court and quit. And didn't
That was
play
it.
the rest.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, you have to go through those things,
Right,
and then
yeah.
at some point you might.
that's part of the release for
I
him.
know.
He's like, point penalty? He's like, watch this. Game, set, match, motherfucker. You just lost, coach. You know, but like there is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
don't you
need
even
to-
think at the pro level, there's more to it than just what's
Of course. Yeah.
happening under, you know.
I also think you get to that level, or a certain level, everybody gets there different ways. You get to the point where you understand what it is, and you can internalize it to some extent. Like the older you get, the more mature you get within that, again, that competitive age. You learn to be like, I know what this is. It's just
Right.
it's last night's whatever it was, or
Right.
yesterday's work
Right.
day, or I get it.
Right.
Let's just so I think you process differently, but still, you do at times just feel like I cracked one a few weeks ago, and it felt so good.
Right.
Yeah, it's a frustrating game. It
Felt
just
so good.
is. It's
100%.
Right?
100%. I feel like every time I'm out there, at some point, I do something where, like, I look at my partner, I'm like, I hate this fucking game. And they're like, relax. I'm like, dude, I actually hate you. Fuck you, too. But, like, there's that, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it can be on the other end, too. You can also come and you can have something going on and harness it the right way and totally forget whatever it is you have going on and, like, hit shots and do these things that make you make you feel good, and you forget about whatever else you have going on. So it's like it can go both ways. You can harness it and it can make you feel good and forget about your other shit, or if you can't do that, at least allows you to puke it up or shit it out or whatever it is you need to do.
Yeah.
It can be like a little bit of a release at some point. That shit's got to go somewhere. You got to let it go somewhere.
You do, because
I
otherwise,
think.
yeah, of course. And I think everybody does, man. Everybody does, like, even if they do it after that, or they get to a point where they don't let any of that shit enter their life before a match. Like
right,
when you're a
but then-
professional,
but then
right? You
that's
just
not that's
no, but that's when you become a machine.
totally unhealthy either.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a
And
machine, but like
that's where you talk about the mental coaches and everything like that.
Yeah, like
you were
nothing would bother you.
Right. They
Right.
figure out ways where you
Yeah.
cope
But-
with that before you actually go out and play.
I mean
right?
that may produce results, but that doesn't
that's-
produce a healthy
Yeah,
human.
Correct.
Like you may then fucking win grand slams or do
Yeah.
this or do that, but you're sacrificing
Yeah.
everything
else.
for that,
But
which is like
what do you think the percentage of that is? Because there's a lot of that. They were talking about Alcaraz, right? And the reason we'll go back to this question, and that was an interesting point I thought, because he's so creative and so good, and they were saying, well, what if in a couple of years he will need to stop doing that just because number-wise is not going to win the matches because he wants to do those creative things. So if he stops hitting his drop shots or his, so many fun shots that he has, now all of a sudden he stopped the guy from enjoying the game. So now he becomes a machine. How
Right.
long is he going to go like that?
right,
Do you know what I mean? Because Fed never stopped being a creator there.
right.
on
But
the
why
court.
would you have to stop?
No, they're saying what if?
Isn't
Or
the
do you
reason
do
you're-
it? Yeah.
you're that good is that you do that stuff.
Yes, but what I say the game evolves where, like, look, you have to play your high percentage plays because you're so
okay,
good
I
at
see.
those.
They're like,
Otherwise,
no,
you're not.
this is where
Yeah.
now we're following
Y-
percentages.
Yeah.
Don't
exactly.
do that.
Don't do that because
this.
it doesn't work.
No, that sucks.
Right? It does suck.
That sucks.
So now you take the life out of that player.
100%.
Right?
It's 100%. I mean, that's like it. I mean, in anything, dude. I think about that in like music. You go see like a jam band.
Yep.
Right? They take a chance on what they're doing. They're not playing
Yeah.
written something.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But if you are afraid to take that chance and just was like, we're just going to play it exactly the way we did the last 10
Where you
times,
go from
that
there, yeah.
sucks. Or even, when it was in the office, yesterday we were talking that guy making that joke that was
Yeah.
like maybe offensive.
Yeah.
Well, now if comedians
That's true.
are telling jokes, worried about,
If they're offensive or not.
well, a joke lands or it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's funny or it wasn't funny. But if you're worried about, I could offend these people or this group might find this, now you're telling a joke with all these parameters.
Yeah,
around it,
and
which
you're
are gonna be
restricted.
funny. It would be the same thing in that. Like, okay,
That's
I want to
true.
hit a shot, but this isn't the highest. So now everything becomes
Machine-like.
routine.
Routine. Yeah. Exactly.
Which is, by the way, maybe it works, but it's certainly not rewarding. And it's also not fun to watch because after a little bit, people watching know what's coming.
Yeah.
Or this, that. There's nothing
Yeah, it's
surprising.
predictable.
And
Yeah.
dude. That is, which as a tennis player, what can be worse than becoming predictable?
Yeah. Exactly. Like
You
this guy's
know?
gonna hit. There you go. Going back to the chat, like that's how I think like Djokovic is. I think he's a guy that he's gonna get every ball back. His return's always gonna go deep, right at the server's feet. You know what's he's gonna lock in and
Yeah.
not miss. So that's where people don't necessarily.
So the other end of
Like
that,
Yeah,
is
but
what?
much,
The other
right?
end of that is what
It
is
worked.
what like. Okay, so it's predictable. You
Oh, you have
know
to
what
beat it.
shot I'm going to hit,
Right,
but I'm going to
yeah.
No,
hit
you
it
have to
so
beat it.
good. What are you going to do about
Yeah.
it?
That's
you have to
the
beat it,
hard
of
part,
Right.
course.
yeah.
So is
Yeah.
that maybe very effective, but just not as interesting?
That's probably the best way to put it.
You know,
Yeah. Very effective, but not as
Right?
interesting. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't know. It's maybe you do something different. It could work or it couldn't work.
Yeah.
That's part of like as opposed to like, yeah. That's really it's proven, tried and true.
And yeah, it does.
Like I don't know. There should be something interesting about it.
It
you
should be,
know?
man, because otherwise, why do it? That's
Yeah. No.
right. Like, why do it?
If wins are your most,
Right. And
if you value that more than anything else, which I don't know, maybe some people do.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess you think you would too, but I don't know. Maybe not after you've won a certain amount. Maybe you're like, I got to start valuing other things.
I could see Djokovic liking that aspect though, where you know what I'm going to do, but I'm so
Oh, yeah,
good
it's a
at
challenge
it
for him,
that
yeah.
Right.
I'm going to beat you anyway, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. It's a
Well,
challenge
maybe
for him,
there's
yeah.
there's a certain reward in
Right.
that mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
You
that's.
know I'm
I
going to
mean,
do this? Let's see what's your answer.
Yeah, what-
In fact, I've already told you
Yeah.
what I'm going to do. What's your answer for
Right.
it?
Well, that's pretty much what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Right?
That's
Isn't
Yeah.
that? That's his. Just like, okay, beat me at this. It's be interesting because now May 11th, no more COVID rules in the United States. So
They just put that up there. So
oh, they did?
U.S. Open, he has a shot at, right?
Yeah. So it's so funny, man. Like, he couldn't play Miami and Indian Wells because they have a set date for May 11th.
May 11th for what? Like anybody out of the country that's not vaccinated can't come in?
Yeah, everything
that's still going on? People that aren't vaccinated in the country can't come
I've read just the 11th, everything is just much less contagious.
But like,
than it's been the last 5 years.
So we haven't let one. We haven't let one person that's unvaccinated into this country until May 11th.
Yeah,
correct.
And then
May 11th, that's the day.
And then the 11th, all the I heard Jesus said it. Like, what a funny thing that there's actually the date ending it almost adds
to the stupidity of it.
A bit of all of a sudden that like. Starting the 11th.
It should be effective immediately,
we no longer have to worry about, on this date, we no longer have to worry about anything that we've done the last 5 years.
Talking Miami and Indian Wells, which is like early March. So they had the set date for that in March or before that. They said, no, he cannot do it until May 11th. With 3 months
Do you think that has to do with anything else? Is there anything else you can imagine?
Over him or just...
No, for him. No, not just... never mind the rest of the world. Just like, I don't know. They just had to... Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why they...
Do you think if it was other players, there would be more of a...
So here's what I heard from...
Because are there other players that are in that same boat that are as big as him because they've all fallen into taking care of what they're good at? If it was someone else, do you think it would have...
Maybe
made a difference.
Oh, I see what he's saying. Yeah. Maybe. But I think it became political right at that point. So you have one side telling you let him in, and with the other side, no, we got to follow the rules, and he fell into that. So you can't do much.
It is stupid. It is stupid. I don't know. I find the date.
Really is,
I find an end date on something like that so totally ridiculous.
Yeah, because it's not. Yeah. Like we used to have it with the
pandemic over.
Yeah,
you're
tomorrow,
free to go,
but not right now.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
What day is it? Oh no, that doesn't end till Wednesday. No. Very, very bad on Tuesday. Wednesday, everybody's good. Everybody's good. Like what?
Yeah. So going back, they told their players, and at that point, I guess 50% of the players are vaccinated. Only.
Wait, the debacle being what?
Djokovic being allowed to go to Australia.
Right, and then what? When he landed, is that the way it worked? Did he get there?
Oh, he started training. Oh no, maybe he only landed. Was first part.
I thought he did. He get there?
He got there.
And
they
then
stopped
they were
him.
like, "Oh,
no."
Yeah.
A judge ruled that he can play.
He can.
Yes.
Yep.
He started training.
Yeah, and then game very contagious.
And then they during the same. It was before they started open. They said no. That judge is wrong. We're gonna look into it a little bit more.
Yeah, he became the example. They needed an example.
But so first of all, they gave him the visa. Right. So he can fine. He shows some proofs or whatever he needed to show. Walks in, they're like, no, you're not good. Then they clear him. Then no, you're not good again. So 2 trials. I think the guy had 2 trials right before he.
That sounds right.
Before the tournament even started. So they tossed him out of the country. That was bad. But so the ATP told them right in November of the year before, like, look, we're gonna start being mandatory. That like Australia's gonna be mandatory with that. So I guess about 90-something%, 95% of them did get vaccinated or show proof of vaccine. I'm not sure if we were vaccinated or not. And then a couple of them didn't. There was a couple of examples. But that all disappeared because.
I mean, that was par for the boards for other professional sports too, right? Like basketball players.
Yep.
Right. I mean, isn't that the thing with like Kyrie in New York couldn't play?
They couldn't play in
New York, in Brooklyn, right?
You play away games though, right? Depending on where it was.
No, but like most players that
play in Brooklyn.
Most players that came in there, I don't ever remember like hearing stories of anybody not being able to.
Except for him.
Because they couldn't, except for him. So it seemed like everybody else got on board, which is amazing. It got a lot of, you know.
What was also the big with Aaron Rodgers, right? That was another big one.
Well, he lied about it, right? He said
he didn't.
He said he said he was.
He was a play on words.
Yeah, there was.
And you know what? Good for him for doing that.
Right,
at that point.
but I mean, a play on words is sort of another way to be.
He said, "I'm immunized," or
yeah.
something.
Yeah. And what was it?
No, he just didn't get back.
But what was his answer to it after people
No,
called him out?
he said that he didn't. At that point, he didn't know what to do. Actually, he was explaining everything, and it was. He was saying that he was highly allergic to one thing that was in the vaccine. So to comply, because the rules were to comply, he did this. He basically got the virus in him like little pieces at a time. So what he answered that it was like, I'm starting my immunization process, or I'm in the middle of my immunization process, something like that. And he didn't lie that he got the vaccine. What he did say is, I'm starting that, and nobody questioned him. Kind of people like, all right, that's. And then it came out, and that's when it was that big.
He's an interesting guy, Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. He's like big in. He's done some ayahuasca.
Oh yeah. Oh
some
yeah.
Darkness retreats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that, sitting in darkness for 2 days?
No, I'd like to try it.
Really?
Yes.
You would do that?
Yeah. Under the right
it's something though.
guidance. Oh, I'd be really interested.
Yeah.
I know some people that have done it.
I'd be more interested in the medicine than just sit. I feel
that's what I mean. Well, that's part of it. And by the way, I don't think I think some of that is that you don't necessarily sit. Me, maybe you're talking about two different things. The ayahuasca thing, you're not
two different things. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the darkness retreat is literally
just sitting in darkness for
nothing.
I don't know. I mean, to me that makes no sense. But if people are doing it, I'd almost be like, I got 2 days.
You do.
Maybe let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It's almost like being outside.
Yeah.
I think something happens like when I camp, right? We stay outside there's something that happens when you just don't go indoors for a certain amount of time.
We're meant to be outside. Yeah.
Just changes. So now that I've seen that, I don't know, maybe if you change any of your, maybe you keep me in darkness for, to keep the lights on 2 fucking days. Maybe things get a little more, you're like Kramer when the fucking, he's got the Broasters sign, the chicken sign. Yeah, put you underwater, even breathing, but like underwater. I mean, you change anything,
Train
and it's going to be, it can be, I mean,
it's hard not to be interested in like the ayahuasca stuff just because so many people have came out of it with such great experiences. Right?
It brings your fucking brain.
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's just,
you don't.
No, I get that. I just don't know what the dark. I don't know what that would do for me.
Well,
what
have you ever
sitting in darkness?
I don't know. Does
for
it heighten?
2 days?
Does it heighten? Like
3
so
days.
You can't see. Does it? I don't know. Does it heighten certain? Like, there's got to be things that go on. You're not just sitting in darkness, right?
I'm not sure.
No.
I don't know enough about it.
You do.
I think it's literally you just sit there.
Have you?
But are there conversations happening?
No, if you're by yourself.
No, it's just
dark for 2 days.
Yeah, but. Yeah, I think it's an unbelievable thing, though. I really do. I think it's because we talked about it, right? We talked about doing an information cleanse, and I think that's a very small pre-step to that, because you get information and you accumulate information, but then your brain needs to process it. So if you constantly accumulate information, your brain goes in overdrive. And you always try to process that, so you're not really present, and you cannot really think about,
right? Like how much can you process?
Yeah, how much can you do? It's like it's like you're getting too much food. Yeah, even if it's good food, you're getting too much food, so your body's.
It's like giving a lesson. You ever give someone a little too much information, and they're like,
exactly, right?
Yeah.
So when you give, I think what that one does, you give your brain enough time to
quiet.
To process, and there's so many open tabs in the back, and I don't, you don't. I would do it too. By the way, I would love to do that, but you can enter different ways like that. And what you and I talked about a while ago. 2 hours, pick 2 nights a week, and 2 hours, just go by yourself in a room. Then go in a different room, go in a guest room or whatever. No TV, just 2 hours before you fall asleep. You fall asleep at 10:30. Go at 8:30.
Yeah.
Just later, just be, just let it be, and man, you'll be amazed what comes out of it.
Yeah, I did that last night. Actually,
you did?
I didn't not on purpose. I just went into my bedroom after the game and the lights are off and they were like singing, and I was usually I'll fuck on my phone or I was gonna turn the TV on and I'm like I just didn't. And when I woke up this morning when my alarm went off, I also got up at my first. I didn't get up on my own, but my alarm went off and I still got up, but I had a sense of I knew you have a feeling when you get a deeper night's sleep.
Yeah.
Dude, you know it right away.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of a stiff neck.
Yeah.
You said that this morning.
I did.
That was the
By
first
the way,
thing you said
dude,
to me.
no,
this
my neck
morning
is
at
still killing
10:30.
me. It's still killing me. But I think I like almost went so deep, I fucking cocooned. I went like back into the womb.
Yeah.
And like when I woke up, I'm like, whoa, fuck.
Yeah.
But I got right out of bed, which I never do.
Yeah.
And that was my first thought this morning. I'm like, do you want to know what? I'm like, I went into a room in darkness.
Yep.
Without kind of fucking around before. I was just kind of laying with the dogs for
That's
a little
it,
bit.
yeah.
I'm like,
different
went
energy
in
connection,
and I'm like, it makes me realize like maybe I should try that a little bit more because I definitely slept deeper.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, there is no fucking doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's some, and I don't want to say I've been doing forever. Just something in the last few years, man, and it is amazing. It is amazing what it does to just to rearrange your thoughts. So you don't have so many things going in the back. Like, oh, I forgot about this. No, everything is just kind of getting processed, and you just let it be. Even if you think about something, take an avenue. Okay, but let me think about that a little bit more.
I was also really tired though, which I wonder if I wasn't so tired, would I have been able to fall asleep so quick?
There's a period.
Because that's
there.
my concern is without something else
it's actually
going.
the opposite. Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I get spun out on something, and then I'm thinking, and now that like causes my brain to actually go into fucking overdrive.
You mean if you don't do it?
Yeah.
No, it's actually the opposite.
But I'm saying if I just go to sleep and I'm not that tired, and I'm laying there with my thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, I think about work and then this and then that and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. You're processing stuff. That's what the brain does. But so, yay. So yes, there you go. Yeah. So the more you process that before, the more the body goes, the brain can just shut down. Like the problem solving or whatever you have to like think and.
What do you think your average fall asleep time is?
Right now?
Yeah.
Between 10 and 10:30.
No. How long does it take you to fall asleep?
Like when you lay down and put your head on the pillow, how long do you think before you're sleeping?
Under 15 minutes.
What do you think yours is?
Oh. It depends on the night, but probably over 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Try it.
I'd say I'm at least without distraction.
Yeah.
At least a half hour, 45 minutes, and with distraction, man, I'll get in bed and I might lay there for 2 hours.
Well, that's distraction. That's because you're now.
Sometimes it's my own thoughts, though, dude. It's not the TV.
Well,
I'm like,
but yeah, but you're
thinking about. I'm thinking about you. Like I've never hit that point where I'm like, okay, good. I just worked through everything. Now I'm going.
But I think
to sleep.
you accumulated so much stuff at this point. It might take a little bit. It might take a few nights,
like multiple nights,
to kind of let that happen. Yeah, dude. I would suggest just it's tough for you because pick Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but start with 2, and give yourself 2 hours, like whatever your time will be. Like if you want to fall asleep at 11 o'clock, go to 9 o'clock and do that. But stick to it. I know. Stick to it, and then do 2 nights in a row. You might want to do it the third after that. Not saying you have to do it every night, but you'll know exactly when. Okay, well, I need to kind of let.
You get into bed between 10 and 10:30.
Yes.
Most nights.
Yeah.
What do you do? Average, because it's got to be different.
10 or 10:30, I would say. Actually, yeah.
What?
Yeah,
You sleep good, right?
Yeah, I definitely sleep good.
Yeah, Kev,
10 and
try
10:30.
Well, I mean, look.
Like a weekend, no, right?
No. But I'm saying no. Let's talk on Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, yeah, probably between Yeah, 10:30 or 11. Yeah, closer to that.
Ooh.
So
I rarely see past 12 on like a weekday. Friday, Saturday, I'll sleep
past
1
oh,
o'clock.
fall asleep. I mean,
yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so what I've been hearing and what all those experts and whatever you want to call them, that you want to have an anchor wake up time, and for us now, obviously with River is between 6:30, so I have to backtrack from there about 7.5 hours. I don't get them, but I realize that I don't need that many. But if you have your anchor wake up time, like if River in 2 years, that time, that 10:30 is gonna move to 11:30. I know that for sure. When he falls asleep
until 8.
Right.
But then now it's 6:30. It's go time, right? So that's when that's why it's 10:30. I mean, I wouldn't do it if, right?
Yeah, I don't know though, because I enjoy the other end of it. Like occasionally, whether I'm to bed early or not, my kids are older, they don't do that, but like Eric and I wake up on a weekend and like we're out of bed and we're in the living room, even chilling but slowly having coffee at like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Our day is so fucking full. We do so much.
So much, right?
Sometimes it's like we've done all this stuff. I'm like, should I start cooking dinner? And she's like, it's noon, dude. And I'm like, what? We've barely gone anywhere.
I know, right?
There's so much has happened. Where like other times it can be really, really sluggish. So I love that early end of it, but you really can only get that early end of it
if you go to
Like, what's the latest you think you can go to bed and still be functional by 8 a.m.?
Midnight,
yeah.
Yeah, is midnight kind of the cutoff of like, and honestly, let's be real. I've hung out a million times after midnight. All the good quality hangout time kind of happens before midnight.
Yes.
Like, there's hanging out after midnight. It's all fucking bullshit at that point. It is like, there's nothing. No. There's nothing. We haven't like, it's never 12:15. I'm like, we've cracked the code. It never happens. It never happens. No. Yet you can be up till midnight. Yeah. And I think still be up by 8 a.m.
Yes.
Let's call 8 a.m. I mean, earlier, great. You could be up earlier. If you don't have to be to work and you don't have kids that need to be somewhere and you're not on a schedule, 8 a.m. to me is like, that's a good in between. It's still early enough, but it's late enough that it's not like anything before 8 a.m. I get up before then a lot of times, but like I got to be to work. I have something to do. Like before 8 a.m., there should be a reason.
Why
you're getting up before 8 a.m. You know.
Yeah. The other thing that a lot of sleep people are saying, that ideally you want to get at least an hour of sleep before midnight, just the way our circadian rhythms are. That's what you read on that. So I guess for the first part of the night is the physical repair, and the second part is the mental repair. But I don't know. I mean, you hear it. I heard it from different people. I don't know how true it is, but you do feel different when you go 10:30 to 6 versus 1 to 8:30. You know, it's a different, even if it's the same amount.
Dude, 100%.
Even if it's the same amount.
Look, I've gone 4 to 2.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah.
And like, even though you still made up, it's still you're like, you got it, but your body's still like, what?
Well, you have your cortisol this hitting you in the morning, that you're so used to it. Right. So now you're sleeping, but you have cortisol like punching you, like,
right?
And try to wake up, but your body's trying to fix other things. It's,
right.
Yeah, you're gonna wake up like so weird.
I go back to Erica, who's now started a new job, and she half nights, half days.
Oh boy, how's she doing?
Dude, it's
how do they expect people to do that?
It's like, dude, she wakes up at like.
Kev, can you give us a
when she works a night shift, she'll go to bed at like 9 o'clock a.m. and work, and then sleep until like 4 o'clock p.m. or whatever it is, and she wakes up like crying because she thinks she lost the whole. It's just like, dude, it's like crazy.
Yeah. That's oh man,
it's such a.
So that the nurses are being basically an example of this sleeping stuff.
Yeah.
In every book that I read about sleep, they talk about how nurses are affected by it.
Right.
And so I don't know, and I would just have a look into that a little bit more.
Right. But
'Cause-
what are you gonna do? Like they need nurses at night, right? It's not gonna ever
Yeah.
stop from there, right?
No,
Like
no, I don't know. It's but it's oof. What did we all had those nights? Thank you. That's okay. Ton of ice or not that much ice? Oh, okay, that's fine. It's all right. Yeah, that's gotta be so tough on them, man. But they find a way to do it, man. They're troopers, right? They're just
it's funny. Her sister enjoys nights. She likes it better, which I've never heard of that before.
really.
She like
Well-
chooses to
well-
stay on nights now.
Yeah, but Erica's doing half nights, half days.
Yeah.
Like that, you should be one or the. There should
No,
be one
so
or the other.
the way
You
they do
shouldn't
it is
be-
like you'd go on like 3-week periods. So for 3 weeks you're on nights, 3 weeks you're on days. But
That's gonna mess you up
yeah,
for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as you
Yeah.
readjust,
Yeah, you're back into it again.
man.
Yeah, I think I would be someone. I think I could work nights. No problem.
Yeah, you would have that in you. You do.
I really do.
You're
And
a
I know
comedian.
maybe
You're
I'm
a
not at
comedian.
my-
Like,
I'm not at my. Maybe I think I don't need as much sleep, and I do need more, and maybe I'm better when I get more sleep. But I can also, my rhythm can be staying up late.
Yeah.
Sleeping a little later, and then staying up 8, or I can also, and maybe I'm not at my best here, but I can stay up for. I've pulled,
long periods of time.
dude. I've gone long.
So,
I've gone
I've
very,
seen you-
very, very long periods
I've
of
seen
time.
you going days.
On I've gone days, just like in short spurts where I'm like, I'm just having so much fun with
Yeah.
all these people I want to play with. Where like at some point, someone I really love and respect is like, hey, buddy,
Yeah.
do me a favor. I want you to just go back to the room. And I'll wake you up. Take an hour nap. I want you to get an hour of sleep.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm fine. They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Go back, take an hour.
Yeah.
It's like honestly for a long
Yeah.
period of time, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So-
it's-
Maybe that's not good for you, or maybe I'm not as functional as I think I am at that time.
well, you're
but-
happy. You're happy.
Okay.
So you're not. So
Well-
you're not like you said, you're not solving
Right.
problems,
Right.
right? So
Well,
you enjoy
usually
the-
at 4 a.m., no one's like, hey, dude, I need your, can you do my taxes for
Well-
me?
well,
I'm
I was
usually
gonna
not
say,
in
saying,
those
that's
From what you're
situations.
saying, level 4 2 a.m. clinic on Mondays. Let's start enrolling. 2 a.m. clinic. Be there.
Yeah.
You want to know what? I'd actually love that. I'd love that. I'd like who it would attract, I think. Like, who are my signups? Here we
Imagine
go.
throwing that one out there.
Oh, my God.
You could take a
Do
clinic.
I often wonder, like, what's if we were to do a 9:30 or 10 p.m. clinic or a 6:30 or 7 a.m. clinic. Not that we would, but
People would sign up. People
Yeah,
would love that. It's
right?
like those
People
24-hour
would-
gyms.
yeah.
People
I
come
think
in
I
and
think
do-
there's something in for the early morning. That might be.
I know, but
yeah, not when you have to work until. Like,
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You got to have people on the right schedule to do
yeah,
it.
you almost
But
need.
like,
you know how,
if
like, other
if I could get
places-
out at 3
Yes.
o'clock,
Dude, it
I'm
should
in
be
to
earlier
come
than
in
that.
at
If
6,
you're in at
you know what
6,
I'm saying?
you
Like,
should be
I'm
out. It should be 6 to 1.
Right, something
that's
like
it.
that is
Yeah.
totally doable there. Maybe
That is
that's-
like something to.
if we could make it work schedule
Places do
I
that,
would-
wise,
yeah,
where they
that's
have where they have people working all around. People
Right.
work different shifts.
Yeah.
If you could have 2 people come in and do an early shift, but they're guaranteed, you're like, dude, you are out by your day ends at 12:30, 1 o'clock. You do some early shit, and then you're
Yeah.
out that day. Like that could be. I don't know. People might
I
be
thought
able to
about
do
that a while ago to have, like, ideally, I would when we do the schedules, I would like to whoever works until 8 p.m. the night before, not to have to start early that day
Yeah.
or early the next day.
Yeah.
That would be ideal. We just can't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Which cover, but maybe we'll get to a point where that's possible. Because if you come in
There-
and
there
you
would
go
be-
3:30 to 9, but then you know the next day you're only coming in for the afternoon,
Right.
right? That's
Right.
that's manageable. Well, like you said, go 7:30.
There would be so much interest in the early morning stuff here. It's just, honestly, when we do what we do here,
that's why
getting in at 6 a.m., you're just like...
It's tough, dude, because if you have a clinic at 6:30 that same day...
Right.
What's the quality there?
Right. Yeah.
12 hours later.
Right. Yeah, it would have to work.
Like, you got any ideas? And they're like, huh? I'm here for the clinic. What are we doing? Huh? You guys like forehands? I don't know. I'm not sure.
This is my first day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always right. And same, we talked about people asking for the weekends, and we do have people working on weekends. Well, we do.
I know.
But it's
and part of it is, I don't know. I mean, we work. Part of what we do, we're in like the leisure business a little bit, right? So part of what you sign on to doing is working on people's off hours.
Yep.
We have a staff here that has worked, a lot of it, has worked hard enough and long enough that they're no longer interested in doing that. Yet we're still... Our business is still working people's off hours. Like people do what they come to us outside of their jobs, and most people have 9 to 5 fucking jobs.
I do think that's shifting though now, right? A little bit with people working from. You see
it
more, right? Like it is. It's shifted from where it was in the past, right? But like I agree, it's still still that, yeah.
Also, okay, so maybe you do get someone, and then. Do they during that particular lesson not give what they are actually capable of giving?
Exactly, the quality
and then
of it,
over time, do they not just last as long because you're asking them to do something that they're just not cut out to do? You know,
because they're just going through the motions there versus really. You want to be creative. You want to be having fun in the job. You want to do all that, and it's a physical job and also mental job too, because you have to read the personality, right? You have to. That's going a little bit, and we can get into that. When you teach somebody, you got to read their personality, read their learning style, see how much information they can take at once, see the physicality that they can work at, they operate at, because that's big. You know, you can. Somebody doesn't know how to walk yet properly on the tennis court. You're not gonna running forehands with them, right? So it's a basic example, but so it is a mental job just as a physical. If you want to do it right, you got to be at the right, hit at the right mental capacity. If you're tired, man, we all know guys that 10, 12 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week. That's never
being worn out as a teacher, right, is going to be the biggest obstacle in you being an effective teacher.
Yes.
I've seen it. We've all seen it. You see people out there where they're just worn out, and there's like, you just see it happening. It's the biggest thing I try to stay aware of in myself, because we all go through it in phases where you're up and down. When I feel that, I try to figure out real quick, because you can get it back real quick too. But I'm like, oh man, I need a little rest, because I'm not out there.
That's so important.
Connecting in the way that I need to, because I'm not.
Yeah, you're not fully engaged.
I'm not fully engaged, which is easy to not. It's easy to not do that.
But that's also it's a very good point for you to realize about you and your system. Like when that is.
Right. And
I think that should be something that, especially in this physical demanding job, you'd be like, look, I need a couple of days.
Yeah.
And that should be okay. That should be normal.
I find it happens a lot of Monday mornings. I'm just kidding. That's going to be an edit, right?
Oh, we're going to leave that one.
It is true, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important to know.
Is there something that happens on the court when you know you're feeling tired?
My patience gets low.
That's the biggest
that
thing.
Might be it.
Gets super low.
Dude, it's amazing you said that, because that was
just things that
that's exactly.
I would never get frustrated about, like, ever. We'll start to click, and I'm just like, oh, like, dude,
100, dude. That's it for me too. Yeah. Maybe that's one of those. And by the way, we can all joke with each other about shit, but a lot of times, like, dude, outside of that joking, we're very engaged. But there are times where mentally, where I am just usually very patient. Where in my mind, I start having those thoughts, and I'm like, you want to know what? I'm like, oh man, I think I need a little bit of.
But yeah, you do have to honor those thoughts, man, because they're important when they come in those feelings. Like, all right, well, it's time.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
Patience is a big one, dude. Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Think about.
You're right.
Think about through your years of teaching. I bet you've heard it. Do people sometimes when they're trying to give you a compliment, where they'll tell you, they'll be like, "Oh man, you're so patient."
I know.
And you're thinking like,
"Am I?"
I'm not. Here's the deal. I've taught what I'm trying to teach you. I've taught it enough times where I realize it takes.
Yeah. I know
years.
I know the miles.
Here's the deal. I'm not patient. You have unrealistic expectations on how quickly you're going to pick this up.
Yeah.
And by the way, I appreciate that compliment. I like that you're saying that. And maybe we're patient enough compared to maybe other people we've done, but you have unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
We're just doing what we're supposed to do.
That's why those vacations, right? To take those days off and
that's the best thing we've done here.
Yeah. Right?
We did not have years ago. We did not have those vacations scheduled, dude. 9 days here, 9 days there. This, that, blah blah blah.
It's so important.
Late start here, dude. All that stuff, it makes you better.
Yes, that is a big deal.
And I think part of it is this is a job where obviously you don't get paid time off and stuff, but if you can bank on knowing you have those 5-6 days in a row. That's just as good as paid time off to me. As long as I know I have it, that it's coming.
It's better.
Yeah.
It's better to me.
You said this years ago when you had your little girls, and it stuck with me. Like, all that I want is time. It's like you cannot get back.
There's
time.
no price tag on that.
There isn't. Price tag, and then you see it, man, and it just
there's no
when you change the currency to time. Versus it's amazing how your life changes. Like if you think of everything on time terms, I have no time for stupid conversations. I just don't. If it's not worth it, that's 20 minutes of my life.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do it. That's 20 minutes, man.
Yeah,
I know it doesn't sound, but it's not right. So anything that you do, so same thing, the time that you have that you can get with your family, it's massive. It's massive.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, I've passed up maybe some opportunities based on what I thought I was going to do to my time. That's the thing I'm most grateful about here is it's allowed me to do what I want to do, but I've been rewarded other ways too, but like I've been rewarded mostly with time, which is like, some people put other things forward, this and that. For me, time is my time, whether it's with my kids, with my wife,
your time,
with
whatever
my fucking
you want,
buddies, with me laying on my couch, with me doing this, doing that. It's like dude, we live one goddamn time. I want and we work really hard. And it's all very scheduled.
Yeah,
work, kids, spouses, whatever we're doing.
Everything
it's all
is
very scheduled. The more scheduled I've become, the more I've been like time.
It's like an animal in the zoo.
It's like gold.
Yeah,
to me,
it is gold.
I feel like our time schedule here is better than it's ever been.
Yes,
before, and so. I do think if we were to look at if we were to do this job anywhere else, I'm not sure we'd be able to have this the time the way we would want it. It's earned. It's a process, but at some point, I'm like, that's I'm not going to make $1 million doing this. I'm not even interested in doing it. Here's the deal. Yeah. I'm going to be a millionaire in fucking time.
Yeah.
How's your goddamn time? Because I see people that make more money, and they're like fucking eyes are fucking bloodshot and
stressed,
and then they're like
everything else. That it's time is the most important thing, man. And I do think it's something to be cherished. I really do, and it's something that we have to fight for.
Yeah. The little carve outs between, I don't know, at the end of this session, before the summer session, at the end of the summer, those couple of weeks we take, and even better, the culture here is everyone I feel like it used to be there would be a lot of asks that you'd have to turn down during that time.
Build the culture. Yeah.
Now, even when we sneak up on a lot of people, maybe they want to be like, they're like, oh yeah, this is the next one. You're probably not in, right? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And they're like, good. That's take your time. Take your time. They already get it because they get it too. They want their time also. Yeah. Even in the business of working on people's leisure time.
But
it's been created here where, like, by the way, we will give you everything.
we provide so much
have.
that it's like,
now let us have. And by the way, we're better because of that, because we give us our goddamn time. You know.
So,
but that also reflects on the type of membership we have there a lot of the time, right?
100%. How does your time match up with Erica's time?
What do you mean? Like her work schedule compared to my work schedule?
Like, do you guys, does your time off match? Does she have time off when you have time off? Because that's challenging too. Like when both people work, trying to get your time to match off together. Because, by the way, look, a little time off sometimes when no one else has time off in your household is like,
thing. And it happens.
And by the way, that's fun. That's fun. But there's also it's nice to have time off together. So, and if, like, you know, I don't know, she's got a funky schedule.
Yeah. So it was like last summer. It was unbelievable because she was working every third weekend, right? During the week, we don't see each other a ton, right? Like, you know, she's...
But that's common.
Which is common in the 20s. I mean, it's
common in the 20s.
We're okay with that because we know, all right, Saturday, usually we can do something. Or, you know what I'm saying? You have that one day.
You mean you don't want to teach a clinic at 9 a.m.?
She only works 3 days a week, right? 12-hour shifts. So the days she does work, we don't see each other, right? She's up at 5 a.m., gets to work by 7 o'clock, and is there until... almost she gets home at 8 o'clock, right? So it's like we don't see each other. But the couple days she doesn't work, she's home, she's hanging out, right? I get home and then it's fine. So it's a good mix.
I think it's you do have to find your balance there between time together, time by yourself, time to work.
100%.
That's probably
the hardest part.
The hardest part of the relationship. I do. I think that. I think it's just so important to know, okay, well, respect that right now, like, I'm not gonna see my spouse for
my
a little
time,
bit.
your time,
our time.
Yeah.
That's how we're gonna divide this thing.
Right?
And it doesn't even have to be even all the time.
No.
Sometimes I need more of my time. You need more of your time. Sometimes I'm looking for a little more of our time, or you're looking more. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be even, but it's definitely divided in those categories, and you know, and
when you find out, it cannot be 100%.
No,
it cannot be 100% the other way. You can't go.
No, that's what I mean. It's a moving target. I think when both people understand that these are the three markers that we have, and each day, and each week, and each month, and the way it works is like, they're fluid, but they have to come together so that overall, each one of those markers is taken care of a little bit, you know?
You 100%.
I've probably gotten better at that as I've gotten older.
Well,
I was
all
in,
the guys
like,
do,
and like, so me and Erica, we've been together literally since we're in high school. I'm fucking 45 now, right? So now we have kids that are in college, like... I was dating, like, I have kids older than, like, Eric and I were dating before our kids were our age.
I know.
Or their age now. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've been that long.
Man. That really is.
And I look back sometimes, like, years back, and, like, some of the shit I did or I chose to do, and I fucking cringe.
Yeah.
And maybe she
but
does,
that's part of the process,
she does too, this, that, but it's like, no, but she gave me the space to do that. I gave her the space to do her shit. And it's like, it's worked out. And, you know, again, like anything else, we'll get all over each other here and there now. But, like, it's this. It happens. There's, like, her time, my time, our time.
Our time.
And we've, like, kind of made it sort of happen a little bit. Tyler, sometimes, you know. I like, you know, he's 22.
Oh, boy.
23.
Yeah.
Maybe 23. But, like, I'll see him, like, one of the things I look back that I did when I was younger is, like, in my 20s, I would always choose, if, like, my buddies were hanging out.
Yeah.
Choose that over.
And Eric was like, dude, we should just go home. I'm like,
oh, I remember.
I'm like, I'll figure out.
I remember those.
Yes. Yeah. You go. I never, ever wanted the party to end. Mm-hmm. Never. And even worse, sometimes my buddies were like, dude, don't go. don't go.
Yeah.
And I'd send her home. She would go home. I'd go somewhere else. She would stay, like, whatever, like, at the end of the night.
We all done it.
But again, it was late. We were just talking about earlier, like, after midnight, nothing good ever happened. And I finally I learned, occasionally I'll still make that, but most of the time I'm like, dude, I'm going to come home.
We had one episode a couple of years ago.
Where?
At my house after the big food truck party.
Did I choose to go?
No, you chose to
stay.
You wanted to stay. And
it's a work in progress.
Yes. No. No, what I'm saying that you listened, and I was like, Kev, I'm reading something different here.
Oh, I remember
Erica.
that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Like, this is different.
Yes.
So you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And you learned.
Yeah. Well,
it was a different energy coming out of her.
Yes.
She was
absolutely.
Yeah.
But you don't pay any attention to that when you're younger. When you're older, sometimes it takes 45 years to figure it out. But like, I'll see it in like Tyler all the time, where I can. By the way, she's such a cool chick.
Yes.
Sometimes she's like, dude, it's 3 a.m. She's like begging him. She said to me, she's like, I just want to go home. She's like begging him, and like Tyler's like, still looking at it. I'll beat him. I'm like, dude, take Rosie home. Yeah. Your girl wants to go home, dude.
You gotta respect that, yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, she's fine. I'm like, do you see her in the corner there?
Yeah.
And she's like,
I know.
I think she's crying in the corner. I think she's crying, dude. Take her home. But I don't know. Especially guy, I don't know. I feel like you never want to leave your buddies. You
don't.
Learn to maybe. I feel like that gets easier as you get older. That's probably the worst decision I made when I was like younger. Consistently, I just always chose. Which, by the way, then in pub they're like they're like women are different.
They are.
They would never, even when they're younger, very rarely would they ever choose any of their friends over us. But that's just one of our wiring differences.
It is.
Like they would never do it. So when we do it, they're fucking
it throws them off.
They're just like, what? Yeah. My guy just did this?
Yeah.
I'm like, but it's a really good time happening, and we're gonna go home and go to bed. So we're not even gonna really be hanging out. Like I get the whole rhythm. I get the whole thing laid out. Like you're just gonna go to sleep right now. Yeah. I do when I used to leave my house. Sometimes it would be late, and my buddies would be like, "Come over." Yeah. I'd be like, "Yeah." I'm like, and she'd be like, "We have kids." I'm like, "Well, the kids are sleeping," and I'm like, "You were just." I thought you were nodding. I saw you on the couch. You looked like you were sleeping. She's like, I was, but I feel like you were waiting for me to go to sleep. And I'm like, well, now that's really debatable. Either way, you were just about sleeping. And it wasn't even about that. No. It was just about like the fact that I would even wanna go a little bit, I know
it's such.
But I would never now. Like I've learned. I'm like, man,
no.
That's one of the things you gain with time is like I can look at her and just be like, and like know what I need. I'm like, I can sniff it out real quick. I have like stock questions I can just ask real quick. Boom, ask it and get an answer and be like,
yep.
And I text my buddies. I'm like, hey pals, staying in tonight.
Yeah.
Or hey, I think I might meet you or this or that. But I don't know. That's part of.
But you know what?
It's part of managing it. Yeah, dude.
They
of course.
respect that.
No, they all respect it now that they've been. Again, I got married way before my buddies. I had kids way before my buddies. Like, I don't know. That changes, I don't know. There's a different responsibility. And I did it, dude. I did it. How old are you, Dolphy?
28.
I had like 5 kids. I had been married for 10 years. 28.
Yeah. How old did you get married?
Well, I've been married. This September was 20 years. And I'm 25. I got married at 25.
That's young.
We had kids 9 months later. But it was young. Like, looking back, it didn't feel young at the time, but 26.
Yeah, right?
Erica was 25,
Dude, I heard this guy, and it's you know what? I look back, not too long ago. He's saying that a child, you might know this, or maybe not. Do you know what age a child's brain fully develops?
Probably 22.
What do you think?
21?
20s.
Between 18 and 21.
28.
Really?
This guy said, yeah.
This guy's not even done.
Yeah.
Him for a soft spot on his head. Does he still have that soft spot up there? Oh, and everyone's different too.
Yeah. Well,
By the way, I think you're way more mature. You're 26? No, 28.
28.
28. He's mature after 28. Yeah.
Yeah,
You've always
you
been like
had
that,
to.
I bet. Dude, I can tell you right now.
You had to.
Dude, at 28, I
had
was
to.
not nearly. And by the way, even years past you worked here, you're like some people are on
This guy came ready at 22.
Yeah, some people are on the other end of it.
Yeah.
I was not at 28 years old. I was not nearly, even though I had a wife, kid. I was like doing all this stuff, and I managed it, but I wasn't like I wasn't as mature. You're like you have a different maturity to you that like it's actually a nice thing to have. Maybe by like 35 you're going to be a grumpy old man possibly, but people can be. I think actually it's better to do it that way than like no one's ever like, oh, he's too mature. You know,
Yeah.
but you can get to a certain age where some people are on the other end of it, and like at a certain age, you're like, dude, that guy's it's still immature.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah,
whatever. It's like
Well,
better to
we
be
all
on the
see-
other
we
end.
all have a
And
friend
by
like
the
that,
way,
yeah.
you have zero say over that. Circumstances might dictate it.
Yeah.
But you don't choose to either be immature or
Right.
mature. It's just something. Somehow you have. There's a life circumstances happen to you that make
Yeah.
you either at a younger age start to
Yeah.
be more mature, or give you
circumstances definitely.
give you the right to not be mature. But I don't think you have that much control over. You're not just like, all right, I'm going to really start maturing.
Well, life will do it. Whatever your path is, will do it for
Right,
you.
but that's not up to you,
No,
right? Life
no.
happens,
Yeah.
and you just live
Yeah,
it.
correct.
You know.
I think a child is a massive, massive shift
In what maturing
in
you?
maturity.
Yeah.
Because you do all of a sudden care without even your choosing or anything like that. Care about something and someone way
Yeah, you
more
put
than
something
you
else ahead of you.
do, light years ahead of you.
Yeah,
and I
but
think that shifts perspective though.
Okay.
On how you do things. No.
so what happens when you don't have children? You're all there are some I can think of guys I've given lessons to for years.
Yeah.
Or this or that. Like, what do you think happens for like someone who's on the ahead of the scale,
Yeah.
where they're just like
Circumstances.
where they're mature of beyond their years?
Circumstances. I think
Like
I think
what?
life experiences.
What do you think
Good,
makes
bad,
you so mature?
The whole range.
I mean, I lost my dad at 20,
I mean,
so that's
Yeah, that's big. You have to
that's
become the
big.
man of the house. Then,
Yeah.
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 it's like
Yeah.
Do you
But-
think that was
but-
the shifting point, or
Well,
were you
But my-
mature ahead of that?
my
Was he
dad
was
was
sick for a while?
throughout high school, so it's like
See, there it is. There.
Yeah.
like bedridden throughout high school.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
really?
So I was-
see, so there
so I
it
was
is.
helping-
It's
There
not
you
even
go.
necessarily the death of him, which
No.
is the
That was-
final,
that was-
which is the final
that was
piece.
something-
Perspective on it.
yeah,
And here's
yeah,
the deal:
yeah,
when you have perspective on stupid things,
Yeah.
that's maturity.
Right. Your
Yeah.
girlfriend breaks
That's
up
maturity.
with you. All right, who gets
That's
like,
maturity.
yeah,
Yeah. Or some dude making a comment in
Right,
the hallway
yeah.
in high
Yeah.
school where like some guy's like, oh, I need to fight this dude
Right.
because it's
Yeah.
like the biggest thing that happened to him.
That's the thing.
You have perspective on it, which
Yeah.
is like that's
That's
what
the
that
thing.
gives you. That's what maturity is. You have perspective, right? You have years. Some people get it through unfortunate ways.
Yeah.
They get it in fast time where
Yeah.
it's like it's sad because it shouldn't happen that way, but all of a sudden you're like, no.
Yeah.
I have a shift now where like I see the bigger picture that usually takes people longer to get, but something has happened in my world now where I see
Right.
it, where I'm like,
And that
you know,
triggers out of-
Darren the douchebag doesn't
Yeah.
really bother me anymore. Him and his Camaro
Yeah.
can drive off the fucking road for all I care.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
But isn't that life is, right? Accumulation of experiences that make you make a decision of
Yeah.
something based on those experiences, though. And that's when you have those deep, really, really heartfelt experiences. Like you said, you just make everything. Like you put in a different ball. You put in a different world there. Like this
Right.
is not like yeah. Because you do that when you're 15, 16. A guy or gal might not have to deal with that until they're like 40.
Right.
So they don't know the feelings of that. They don't have that part.
Well, the funny part about me is my own mom dealt with it after I dealt with it, right? Like, she had to do the same thing for her parents, but after I did it. Like, both my grandparents were alive while I was doing this, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And pretty soon after my dad passed away, they started to deteriorate, and now my mom's doing it for her parents, whereas she was doing it for her husband before, right? And now, so it's just like a different.
Yeah.
I think that could be one of the biggest. I'd say before the age of, I don't know, 25, is probably the biggest thing that can happen in your life that has the biggest impact. Because, dude, at any age it has an impact. But if you're in your 40s, you have your own kids, you have this, you have that. It impacts you, but I think from the age of 25 backwards to, by the way, the younger that you get, the bigger of an impact that it has, where it like actually can, like, it can define you, who you are almost for a little bit. I think that's a hard thing to
the hardest
to deal with. I mean, how old is your sister? She's older or younger than you?
She's 32.
Okay,
she's
so
4 years
she
older
was
than
a
me.
little bit older than you.
She was in college when it was going to happen, and when I
Still
went
not
to
easy.
college, she came back and dealt with the same thing. For
Did
a
that
couple
happen
years.
while you were at college?
He passed away?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died my junior year in college.
Oh, that's even worse, because now you're not even living at
Not
home.
there. So now you feel the regret of,
Oh my
okay,
God.
what I miss out on. I go home.
Right.
Yeah, but
No,
But
I mean,
he would never wanted you to
No,
miss out on that.
no.
But that still doesn't change
how you feel.
your
Yeah.
regret.
And
His
from-
feelings don't change
you
your
know,
feelings.
from his hospital bed, he's checking in on scores and stuff of my mat. You know, like that.
But you
that's
know
what
what?
he lived for right there.
That's
was,
exactly what
That's the
made
thing.
him
If
happy.
you
Right.
stopped,
You
by
live
the
your
way,
life.
if you stopped living,
Yeah.
he might have died
sooner.
sooner.
Yeah. Yeah.
right? He
Yeah, it's true.
eventually he lived probably a little bit through his
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
living a little
Yeah.
bit, you know?
No, that is a massive point in life, though. Yeah.
Yeah, you
But-
do hope the natural progression feels like it's a little bit older.
Yes.
Like your
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
I don't know. They've like released you. You're a little bit older, and you're
They set you on your way, like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm going to the sunset now. It's all good. Versus,
yeah.
still,
When you're still
yeah.
trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's but yeah, but also that shapes you, man. It shapes you, and I think you might not see it now. We might not see it now, but I do believe that it gives you, to some extent, superpowers. I really do.
Does Erica have both her parents?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it-
I have both mine. My Erica has both hers.
Yeah, so it's but that's natural
But-
progression.
and
Right there.
Yeah. Although you see it deteriorate
Yeah.
Yeah.
too. So it's
Yeah.
I'm always torn between that. I'm like, what's the like your dad? How old was your dad? He couldn't have been that old.
61.
Oh, so that's young. That's young.
Yeah, 61. Yeah.
The other end is like, do I want to be 80 and have
No functions and
So-
no functions? So you like people like a quality of life, but there's a certain age where I'm like, well, I don't care. You want to hit a certain age. If not for you, for everybody else in your life that might just want you there
Yeah.
or need you there.
Yeah. They
Maybe
might.
maybe
it's-
your
That is a good
your
point.
quality
Yeah.
of life isn't as much as you want it,
That's a good point.
but I have kids,
Yeah.
and even if I'm in a bed or I'm doing something,
Yeah.
I want to just being alive
You're right. Maybe that one
is
time.
enough
Yeah.
to be for them. So like it's you know what I mean? Like I'm there for them, even if I'm not able to provide in all certain ways. But I'm alive, and they can come speak to me. They can do this. They can do that.
That's
and like I'd
That's a
give up.
good
I would
point.
give up a little bit of my quality of life to
Yeah.
last a little bit longer, to feel like, okay, now my kids are a
Yeah.
certain age where I'm like, they have spouses or
got
they have
it, yeah.
girlfriends, they have this, they have that. They can now, I don't feel like I have to be, because until you have that, your parents are sort of, they're your people.
People bounce off ideas off everything
of.
off, and you know what? When you're right, when you get to that age of being an elderly, Rach actually brought that up, and I never thought about it, man. Never. She was talking like, oh, there's old and then there's elderly, and it's a difference.
Oh,
so
definitely.
Old, and she's like, I'm not sure what we're talking about. It's like they're just elderly right now. It's just tough to.
Yeah.
Right? But I like your point there, because you get to that age where, yes, you're not relevant day to day. You're just not. And you're 85.
No,
you
but
might be.
Your presence
But
is
your presence
relevant
is.
enough.
And that one thing that your daughter or your son or your granddaughter or grandson, they come to you.
Yeah. How about
You
just being
give
in a
them that
room
one.
with? How about being in a room
Yeah.
with?
That's
How about
one,
just being with
or
me?
they just wanted to talk to you because they want to talk with their parents or their grandparents.
Yeah.
And you're that one day, you're the one person that they can talk to and they feel comfortable, and that makes a life of difference for them. So that is big. I like that point.
What did your dad have before cancer?
My dad didn't have cancer.
I thought he died of cancer.
No.
What did he have?
He died of something called PSP, progressive supranuclear palsy. It's more like a Parkinson's kind of, but it's like super onset. So he lost all functions in his legs, and arms. Fast, and then ultimately the reason he died was he lost the ability to swallow. So if you can't take anything in,
oh my God!
now you just start deteriorating.
But his brain was still working.
His brain was still working. His function of mouth wasn't working though, so he couldn't.
Right.
Now it wasn't the whole time that he was sick, right? But the last year or so, he basically couldn't talk, right?
That's tough.
And he couldn't. How long? He got diagnosed with that when you were how old?
Young? Probably 8th grade. 14, 15 years old.
Happened over the course of 10 years.
Were you made aware of that when?
Yeah.
Did your parents tell you right away?
Yeah.
You knew about it?
Yeah, I mean, you could.
I've never even heard of that.
No.
It's funny. There's like so many weird little
it's like
neurological type.
1 in 3 million people have it or something crazy, crazy statistic like that.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it's just hard to see somebody go like just like for that long, right? Steadily. Because at one point he knew he had the craziest part to him. They thought that there was a function that they would be able to do brain surgery and it would help his functionability in his legs, his arms, maybe his talking and stuff. Yeah. He was up for brain surgery. Part of the brain surgery was they'd go into his head, they'd poke around in there and put in this mechanism, and they had to see how it worked.
Oh my God.
So they were doing like experiments
while
he's awake.
Oh my God.
How crazy is that?
Wow.
And nothing came of that.
No.
Yeah.
No, they said it's like a 30-40% chance that it helps, and it's not even gonna, it wouldn't prevent anything from, but it would help for the right now.
That's almost like it sounds like
it's like
what's like is it Lou Gehrig's?
Yeah, that's what
it's like.
ALS.
It's close to ALS.
It's close to ALS.
It's like
ALS,
an offshoot of it.
Parkinson's kind of mix.
Same
there,
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was coming all the way up to Boston, 3 hours away, like every month to check, because that's where the best doctors are. It was like, it was crazy.
Wow. Tavi went through all that. Well, there you go. That's a mature 28-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there.
Exactly. That's what it is. I know.
Right there. That's what.
Right.
That's what. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You don't choose to be mature.
You don't.
No,
It's just life.
It just
life.
like
You don't choose life.
It just happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if that
out of that darkness,
didn't
then
happen
all
to
of a
me,
sudden
I might have been doing this. I might be doing the same thing you were when you were, like standing.
100%.
Probably would be, right? Like I have a lot of the same tendency. We do a lot of the same stuff, right?
It's that's what I mean. You wonder, like, you're wired a certain way, but then life comes at you a certain way.
Yes.
And then there's certain things that, that happen that we were just, exactly. I'm telling you, It was. mature in certain ways at 28, but not the same, you know. But I wasn't dealing with any of that.
Well,
I was actually on, I feel like, the opposite end of it. I had both.
I don't think so, Kev. I think your outlook in life, man. Even I thought about it at random. I don't know why. The other day, I'm not sure what made me think like how you're looking at things at 23, 24, like from the absolute non-selfish perspective. That's really mature. You always have been.
Yeah.
Because all of us like look up to you, family-wise, stuff like that. Because you're so far ahead of.
Well,
all
because
of us.
I did it though.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's another thing. You jump in a family like it's.
Maybe that was part of my immaturity.
Yeah.
Your immaturity turned to maturity.
Yeah.
Just not knowing maybe what it was going to go on, then figuring out as I went on.
Yeah.
And
you said I want to take on this battle.
Not doing it that great myself, but then being able to like look at my buddies and be like, hey, by the way, this is what I did.
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
Look at everyone though.
Yeah, they do.
Everyone. We'll look up to you guys. You guys are the standard of like.
Well, just because we're the first, though.
Yeah.
What you look at? Who else do you look for? Yeah. You
look at the
and
people.
And look, you either do it right, and you can be like, "This is how you do it," which we did it right in a lot of ways. And sometimes you don't do it right, and I can look at my buddies and be like, "Dude," and like it goes both ways.
Yeah.
But you have experience. Yeah. You have experience. That's what it is.
And you take information. Yeah. No, but you guys, you and Erica, man. What you did with those girls? It's amazing. They're awesome, man.
They are. It's amazing. It's all worked out.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it just does.
It does, man. It does. If you just let them be, give them love.
That's all you got to do. That's the thing.
Yeah. Support.
That's the thing. You love them, you support them, and you
guide them when they need to.
I also think, and I don't know. As we see as adults, there's people that are fucking dicks.
Yep.
And then there's people that aren't. Like, the line is pretty easy. You don't have to be perfect, but there's like if you're a good person, you just like, you stress about it. That's the biggest thing I always tell them. I was like, don't stress. You're a good person. Just live and pass on anything you feel like you should, and it'll get passed on.
Yeah.
And it's just your kids end up being good kids. Like, you don't have to stress about. I stressed about every little decision. I didn't realize it wasn't so much every little thing we're doing. It was like the overall of what we were. Yeah.
It's what you are.
But when you're in the thick of it, you're like worried about. You're like, dude, if I say this, are they gonna do this or blah blah blah? Like, it doesn't. It's not that way.
No.
And if you're a fucking douche, you want to know what? You're probably gonna raise a fucking
that's the thing.
douche. But that's who you are. So it does. On the other end of it, no matter what you say, they're feeling the bleeding of that. That's that's the biggest thing. Like, that's why I always tell them, I was like, dude, you're a good person. You don't get it.
Yeah.
Or you do get it. Like, you're good. That's all you need to do. And now you just love them and nurture them, and it all comes out. You don't stress about in second grade if you're telling them the right decision over this fight they had. You stress over every little bit. And looking back, I realized we stressed about shit that didn't make a goddamn difference.
Yeah. But it also got you to the point, right, where you realize later on that let's not think about that. So that's what shapes them. So you stress about some little things.
Maybe.
And then you don't do it, and you learn from the mistakes. Yeah. You were doing with the girls, and I think it's so true, and I see it now that there's not that much listen to you, but they'll look and feel you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
How you react to the situation has nothing to do with them. How you react to what they do, not what you say. How you react, what's your energy?
Yeah.
That's what they feed off, man.
Yeah.
And that's what words.
Yeah.
It's
in fact, don't listen to my words. They could be haywire at some point.
Yeah.
No, honestly.
Yeah. They
or my friends and my family and this, that. See the relationship that they do. They are. God, they are they're way more in tune.
Oh my God.
You're like way more like an animal the younger you are, and you're picking up frequencies that you're not even realizing.
Oh my God, the energy, yeah.
Or we don't realize, we forget as adults, we forget it, but they get it as kids. And the worst part is you don't see it until the very end. So you stress the entire way, and then as adults, or close to adults, you start to see them act certain ways, and you're like amazed by it.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, how did they learn how to do that? And then you're like, occasionally have a moment with you and your wife, and like, I think us.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe we talked about, or maybe on their own they had that, but like it comes together somehow.
It does. Always does, man.
Yeah,
Always
it does. It does. And they can be fuckers along the way.
Of course.
They can be
Of
fuckers.
course.
What was the hardest part? Like, now that they're both
I think actually I'm in the hardest part that I've ever had as a parent, because
Going to
Bella
college?
never, but no, Bella went, no, dude. I mean, that's Gabby, is full on teen like Bella wasn't. Like she wants nothing to do with us, with me and Erica. And by the way, we're not that bad. We're
No,
like, we'll
you
take
guys
you
are
out to
cool
dinner. We'll
parents,
do all
yeah.
these things. She wants to do anything else but hang with us, or like, dude, I'll simply ask her a question. Like, hey, how was practice? And she's like, oh, good. Like, just so, it's just like, and I have enough, I get it enough to be like, I know that's just where she's at. I know it will change, but it's still, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. Like, I just want to be like, I just want to, I'll talk to you. I want to hang with you. I want to do this, that. And she just, right now, she wants no part of it. Not by any fault of us, not by any fault of hers.
Yeah.
And it's so different. Like, it's amazing raising two kids. Bella's the exact opposite. She is like, she'll just chill with us. She'll hang with us. She was home last weekend. She went to a Chinese restaurant. So she wore a fake ID. We all had Mai Tais. We were like eating. It was like, we're talking. And even through her younger teens, she never went through that. But Gabby, it's like, as soon as we even talk about trying to do something, she's like trying to find anybody else. And they can also be like just nasty, just mean. It honestly, I think even because when she was younger, she was all about me, about Erica. I think
why would I want to do that?
I think the last 2 years is probably the hardest years I've ever had. Yeah, as a parent,
even like as when they were babies and stuff, waking
harder.
up at night. Really,
I'd give anything up for because even then there was a moment where I could console her, where she would stop crying.
Yeah,
and look at me here. It's a different version, but it's inconsolable. It's like they don't like you, but they do. They love you, and you have to remind yourself that. But like your interactions, what they say is, it's they want nothing to do with you. And she can be just the way she speaks. I'd like to sometimes I want to call her out. I'm like, I want to record you. I want you to see this because you'd never speak to your friends that way. But it's not even that's not even an argument worth having, Yeah. And I know it'll change, but I think it's the hardest. It's by far the hardest little bit. And by the way, I have some perspective on it. Erica, it's harder for my wife because, dude, moms are selfless to their kids, and Gabby can treat her. And I've called Gabby out on it. I'm like, dude. Mommy makes the world turn for everybody here, including me. Like, do not I wish you should. Like, you would never talk about. They're not teenagers that they're not ready for it. That doesn't help me saying that. It just now makes her fucking even angrier.
Worse, yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it worse. But I think that's the hardest couple years we've easily had. I think hopefully maybe she's a year away from getting out of it. Otherwise, I have a tree house that I've slowly been building in the backyard. That I'm ready to move out. Yeah.
Don't you think that they have to go through that stage though? They have to.
They don't though, because Bella did. No, it's different. Some do.
Will she go later though?
Some don't. No.
Don't feel it.
I think it's just. I think it's
this
wiring.
is where I learned from you.
Yeah. It's just wiring. No, it's just wiring. The hardest thing is to not overreact to it, which I try to explain to Erica. I'm like, don't. Erica's like, why is she treating me so bad? I'm like, she treated me just as bad. I need you to not take it so personally. Yeah. And Erica should take it more personally because she carves out her whole fucking day about making sure that Gabby is taken care of. Where I love my daughter, I take care of her, but moms are different, so they should be they should be treated different. But as 17, you just don't get it. And then I've also learned that it actually, which is hard for me to do because I just want to kind of fix things. I've learned that it works better for me if I just, when Erica says that, and she's like, oh, why does Gabby treat me like such a bitch? Blah, blah, blah. When I just say, when I'm just like, I don't know, and do it, it works better than when I try to explain, when I'm like, well, she's a teenager and this and that. When I'm just like, honestly, when I'm just like, you want to know what? I don't know why she does that. I'm sorry she does that. I feel it is really simple to simply just say, I get how you're feeling. But for some reason, I cannot do that. I can't.
I learned that through,
I can't.
Is the teacher in
and
us,
sometimes I'm almost there, and I'm like, I get how you're feeling. But this is why that's ridiculous. And then it's bad from there. In a sense, right? I'm like, you have a job and you're good at it, and like she is able to deal with everything else. And I'm like, you're letting this 17-year-old derail you right now?
They're good at it, man. They're good at it.
Oh, they're masters at it. They're masters at it.
You know why?
It's
because
just why
they're you.
When they are at their worst, kids, they're never like, Daddy. They scream, Mommy. They want fucking Mommy. And I've even screamed that when like shit's really hit the fan. I'm like, where's Mommy? Mommy? You know, and like we find her. They're never like, where's Daddy?
No,
and I'm never.
You said that to me too. Yeah, and
it's for real.
I live by it. Yep.
But because of that, the same time when they get to an age where they can harness it, they can just say something so quick where it just cuts. We're like, I can hear it. And I'm like, pfft. They can say it to a mom where it cuts. It's like an arrow into their goddamn heart. And it's like the worst thing they can say. Teenagers can be, teenage girls, I think in particular. Yeah. They might be able to be the meanest on earth sometimes. If we could have an army of teenage girls, I'm pretty sure they would be able to. Yeah. We should send them to fucking, I don't know. Where are we at war right now? Where can we send them? There's something, the teenage girl and a mom, dude, sometimes they are so much, oh my God, dude. So much alike. Gabby will say something, or Erica will be like, did you hear her? And I'm looking at Erica and I'm like, yeah. Because like, dude, sometimes she'll say the same fucking shit to me. And trust me, I learned very quick. I said that one time. Oh. But they're carbon copies of each other. There's something about the same sexes. Dude. River is going to slowly, you're not even going to realize, be like you. Except dudes figure they don't argue about it.
Yeah,
But he will say stuff to Rachel occasionally when he's a little bit older, and she'll be like, he gets that from you.
Yeah, I can see that.
What? And then you look at River, and you guys look at each other, and you'll be like, it's just the way it will go. It's just the way it will go. Yeah. It's like there's something that your
DNA,
gender,
man. Your
gender, yes. And girls and moms are so much alike that they're like, they're cut. Everything's identical. So instead of being like this, they're like that for a little bit. And you're like, no, just one of you slide over a little bit and all fits. But they're like,
well, that was a fun one.
Yeah.